There's a rumor floating around that you have 4 to 5 smartphones. Is that true?
I have an iPhone, I have multiple Blackberries, I have an iPad. So I'm not against connectivity, but I believe very strongly that before I go to sleep, for example, I get all my devices out of my bedroom to charge away from me. So that if I wake up and I'm tempted to look at my data in the middle of the night, they're not going to be around. Because I think it's very important to recognize, and I have a lot of scientific evidence to prove it, that sleep, recharging, meditation, prayer, whatever it is that somebody does to bring quiet time in their lives, are a performance enhancement tool. We have many athletes who have introduced those practices into their lives because it makes them better on the court.
What do you do when you wake up in the morning, the first thing?
So I actually meditate. I do some form of, about 22 minutes to half an hour. But in the book, I recommend starting with 5 minutes.
Yes.
You see, at the
just
end
close
of each
the eyes
section,
and meditate.
Exactly. Just basically focusing on the breath. And I think it's very important to realize that just taking small microscopic steps can make a huge difference.
That keeps you calm throughout the day?
Well, nothing keeps you calm throughout the day.
No. And what about the Greek temperament?
I think what we have to learn is to course correct.
Yeah.
It's not, stress is part of life. You know, getting upset is part of life. None of that is going to be eliminated. The problem is when we let all that accumulate. I write about gazelles, for example.
Yeah.
You know, gazelles can be very intense, run like crazy if there is a danger, but then they graze. And you know, the Greek history shows us how to do it. We've just forgotten it. You know, I'm all in favor of working hard, having big dreams, accomplishing a lot. But what I'm saying is that the way our culture is doing it now, the Western culture generally, is all based on burnout. You know, my mother, to whom the book is dedicated, I used to always say to my sister Agapi and me, you know, you have to take care of your human capital. That's the most important thing we have.
Let me ask you, in your opinion, what do you think can be done to help restore Greece to the landmark it once was?
Well, first of all, I have no doubt that Greece will be restored, because ultimately the most important thing a country has are the resources of the people. And Greeks are incredibly ingenious, incredibly creative and giving. And I think the most important thing now is not to be discouraged and not to give up hope, because that's when we need all our inner resources. That's when we need to be as resilient as possible. And people ask me, what you are saying, does it also work if people are struggling to put food on the table? Absolutely. In fact, I quote in Thrive, you know, people in concentration camps who said that the more extreme your circumstances, the more you need to be connected to our inner resources, which is where our resilience comes from, which is the place from which we can overcome obstacles and challenges and basically transcend all the difficulties that we're facing.
Yeah, so you're quite optimistic about Greece's future.
I'm optimistic. I think politicians need to realize that we cannot take resources away from the young people's education, because I know that is the key. You know, the next generation, the opportunity to be educated, to be able to bring the best out of them is going to be critical for turning Greece around.
Yeah. Do you get informed about what's happening in Greece every day?
Absolutely. We cover Greece exhaustively on the Huffington Post.
Would you like to try to say something in Greek to our viewers on Mega Cosmos who watch us in America, Canada, Australia, South Africa, everywhere in the world?
Ευχαριστώ πολύ. Αγαπάω πάρα πολύ την Ελλάδα και είμαι πολύ ευχαριστημένη που είμαι εδώ.
Και εμείς το ίδιο που σας είχαμε μαζί μας. Να είστε καλά.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.